Welcome everyone. This slideshow demonstrates how to assign project resources and schedule in Microsoft Project 2010. Most project management software is complex, very complex. A single task in Microsoft Project may have as many as 90 individual attributes associated with it. Despite the complexity of the program itself, there are only about 5 essential entities in any good project management software. They are projects, activities, resources, assignments, and calendars. Consequently, the starting point for any project management software will be to define the project, project activities, project resources, people, equipment, facilities, and materials, and assign, link, resources to project activities. Once those steps are taken, schedules and budgets can then be calculated and tracked. These capabilities are the heart of any project management software. However, project management software has become much more sophisticated in recent years. It is not unusual for project management software suites to provide program and portfolio management as well as automatic notifications/alerts, document management, and complex resource management, skill sets, time cards, etc. All this complexity makes it easy to make errors, even in the simplest project. The following slides demonstrate assigning resources and creating schedules in Microsoft Project. This slide is a Gantt chart view of a simple project. The project was devised by a small business owner to survey her customers about their shopping experience at her store. There are 3 major deliverables: the survey, people to conduct the survey, and survey results. What you see is the business owner's first draft of the project, the relationship between tasks, and the critical path of the project. The next step to take is to create a list of project resources. In addition to the view table at the top of the screen, the arrow points a shortcut button at the bottom of the screen. Either the View tab or the shortcut provides a path to the Resource Sheet view. The Resource Sheet is a table in which it is easy to enter project resources, resource types, availability, costs, and resource calendars. There are 2 resources for this project: the small business owner and the employee volunteers. They are called volunteers because they will be volunteering to work on the survey instead of performing their regular store duties. A single full-time resource is the equivalent of 100% units. The owner wants to use 3 of her full-time employees to conduct the survey. Therefore, the resource units equal 300%. Even though the employees are called volunteers, they have a cost attached to them. Their cost is their hourly salary. The business owner does not have an hourly salary, and the owner's time will not be used to calculate the cost of the project. After entering resources, return to the Gantt chart view. There are 2 ways to assign resources to tasks. A pick list of resources entered in the Resources sheet is available in the Resource Names column. Resources can be chosen here. The second way is to use the Resources tab in the Task Information box. The pick list is also available in Task Information, and this method allows you to assign the number of resource units that will be assigned for the task. In order to conduct a survey, the owner must decide on the methods used in the survey. Will she attempt to survey every customer who enters a store? Survey only customers who make purchases? Will she create a totally unique survey, or modify questions from a sample survey she finds online? These are the types of questions and decisions that the owner will need to make in order to establish the method of her customer survey. The owner believes that the task of establishing the survey methods will take 12 hours of work. However, she doesn't want to devote more than 4 hours to any single survey task. She estimates that if she works 4 hours a day for 3 days, she will be able to establish the survey methods. Therefore, the units assigned to the task are 50%, and the task duration is 3 days. The math is simple. 8 hours is the default number of hours for a single day of full-time work. Half of that is 4 hours. 4 hours multiplied by 3 days is 12 hours, which is the estimated time of work required for the task. The owner continues to assign herself to tasks associated with the survey. And each time she does, she is careful to indicate that she is only available 4 hours a day. As these resource assignments are entered, certain tasks begin to have small red figures appear in the information column on the left-hand side of the screen. Those red figures indicate that the way the tasks are currently scheduled, It creates a resource over allocation. In other words, the small business owner is now scheduled to work more than 4 hours a day because different tasks are scheduled to occur on the same day. The schedule that exists before resources are added is created based on task dependencies and the duration of the tasks. When you schedule resources to perform the tasks, the schedule doesn't immediately account for the availability of task resources. Task 5. Create answer form. The owner accidentally forgets to assign only 50% of units to the task. The default assignment is 100%. The task usage view, available from the View tab and the shortcut buttons on the bottom of the screen, is a good view to make certain that the duration and hours intended for the task are correct. Look at the effect of that accidental assignment of 100% units to Task 5. Instead of assigning 4 hours of work to be done on a single day, 8 hours of work are assigned to the task for a single day. The first assignment of resources to a project task sets the hours of work. If a task with a 1-day duration is assigned to one full-time resource, the work is set at 8 hours. If that same task is first assigned to 2 full-time resources, the work is set at 16 hours. In the previous slide, the 1-day Create Answer Form task was assigned a single full-time resource and work as scheduled for 8 hours. What needs to be done to change that work to 4 hours? First, we see what happens if you reduce a resource to 50% FTE. After all, that is what was done to achieve a 4-hour-a-day work schedule in earlier tasks. When the resource units are reduced from 100% to 50%, the default action is to change the duration of the task so to keep the work hours the same. When you edit the duration, work, or resources assigned to a task, a small green triangle appears in the edited field. That triangle disappears as soon as you execute another command. If you want to review or change the default action, mouse over your triangle and a yellow diamond with an exclamation mark will appear. Move the cursor over the exclamation mark and a small arrow will appear. Select the arrow and a list of actions appears. The default action is pre-selected. Because there are so many steps involved, the default action is not easily changed. The task usage view is a good view to see resource work assignments, task duration, and total task work hours. Notice that the effect of reduce the resource from 100% to 50% is to increase the duration of the task to 2 days, keep the total work at 8 hours, and reschedule the work to 4 hours on each day. The task usage view is a good view to use when to check or overrule the effect of a task edit. In this example, the work is reduced to 4 hours, the original intention of the business owner. By default, reducing the work resulted in a decrease of task duration. Editing in this view also results in a small green triangle appearing in the edited field. The default and other available actions can be displayed performing the same sequence of cursor movement described in an earlier slide. The effect of editing work, duration, or resources depends upon the task type. This is a view of the Advanced tab of the Task Information box. The task type for the Create Answer Form task is Fixed Work. Fixed work is effort-driven, always an effort-driven type. When resources are added or subtracted from effort-driven tasks, duration decreases or increases. That is why, when the resource of the small business owner was reduced from 100% to 50%, the duration of the task increased. There are 5 task type settings in Microsoft Project: fixed duration effort-driven, fixed units, fixed unit effort-driven, and fixed work, which is always effort-driven. This table shows the effects of the edited work and units and resources of a task by task type. The default task type is set in File Options. For this project, the default is Fixed Work. This means that editing task duration or task resources will not change the work hours. In this project, there are several tasks that should have other task types. Recruiting employees is a fixed duration task, because the business owner wants all our employees to have the opportunity to work on the survey. Accordingly, the recruiting task will task 5 days. Assigning additional people resources won't change the duration, neither will adjusting the time devoted to the task. The recruit employee task will not be effort-driven. Adding an extra person to the recruiting task will increase the work of the task. Once you understand task types, it becomes easier to achieve the desired balance of work, duration, and resources. The recruit employee task has a fixed duration of 5 days. Because employees work different days and different schedules, the owner expects to devote about 2 hours a day recruiting employees. The desired hours can be achieved by assigning 12.5% of work a day to the task. Unfortunately, Microsoft Project rounds decimal points up or down, and assigning 12.5% FTE to the task result in a 13% assignment. It is easy to correct that in the task usage view. However, in this case, the business owner is not concerned with the minor difference. The train employees task is a fixed unit task. In a fixed unit task, adjusting unit assignments easily allows you to represent the project plan. Here, the owner expects training to take 3 days. On the first day, the owner will train a single employee to conduct the customer survey. After that employee is trained, the trained employee will train the other 2 employees. If for some reason additional employees are trained, the additional resources assigned to training would result in an increase in work. Adding the task type field to the Gantt chart view is an easy way to check and change task types. The business owner has decided that the survey itself will take 3 days. Accordingly, she has set the conduct survey task in a fixed duration task. However, it is also an effort-driven task. If the owner decides to help with the survey, the addition of the resource will reduce the units of work required by the employee surveyors. The business owner wants a different employee to conduct the survey on each of the 3 survey days. Although there are 3 employees trained for the task, they will be working on the survey one at a time. Therefore, 100% of the available 300% units are assigned to the task. If all 3 employees worked on the survey, all 3 days of the unit would be 300%. Up to this point in time, Microsoft Project has been automatically scheduling the project tasks. Notice that although the survey is a fixed duration task of 3 days, it is scheduled to occur over 4 days. Those 3 days of work have been scheduled as soon as possible. This is a default task schedule. There are several ways to approach this problem. The best way is to manually schedule the task. This selection can be made from the general task of the task information box. However, before the survey is manually scheduled, the remaining amount of tasks need to be scheduled and the resource over allocations need to be fixed. Before manually scheduling the survey, the business owner wants to make certain that all of the present work is realistically scheduled. She doesn't want to delay the survey because of poor duration and work estimates. The first checkpoint is the resource over allocations. She notices that they are all tasks that she is assigned to. Next, she checks the Gantt chart and reviews the critical path. For the most part, the over-allocation tasks are not on the critical path. In other words, the delays in the over-allocated path are likely to lengthen the project. That is good news. However, when she examines the Gantt chart, she notices that the training task only has 1 present task, and that seems odd. Yes, the employees need to be recruited and selected before they can be trained, but the survey methods, questions, script, and answer form also need to be done before employees can be trained. Examining the Gantt chart is a good way to perform a quality check on task relationships. It is easy to add dependencies in the Gantt chart view. After the resources are assigned to the remaining tasks and task dependency relationships are checked and corrected, check resource over allocations. Resource over allocations are shown in the Gantt chart view, the task usage view, and the resource sheet view. The resource sheet view is a good place to check for over allocations by resource instead of by task. Notice that only the small business owner is over allocated. Over allocated resources must be leveled. Leveling reschedules tasks so that the work of the project can be done within the constraints of the resources assigned to the project. Leveling resources often causes the duration of the project to increase. However, the first step to leveling resources is to reschedule tasks within Project Slack. This slide shows the process of adding a column and a task attributed to the view. Remember, there are more than 90 attributes for each task. Tasks 3 through 8 have many days which are over-allocated, by that they each have more than several days of start slack. Tasks with slack can be delayed without delaying the end of the project. For each day the start of the task is delayed, 1 day of start slack is used. Resources can be leveled from the Resource tab in the Gantt chart view. The first attempt at leveling resources is often to level only within available slack, and that option is selected in this resource leveling box. This is a view of the project after the resources have been leveled within available slack. Notice that the total duration of the project remains the same and only a small amount of the slack was used leveling the resources. Now it is time to manually schedule the conduct survey task. You can use the task information box to select manually schedule and then specify the dates. Tasks can also be manually scheduled by dragging them to the desired position within the Gantt chart. This method makes it easy to see when the survey will take place and that no other concurrent tasks are scheduled. The task usage view confirms that the manually scheduled survey is planned to take 8 hours of work on 3 consecutive days. After project resources are assigned to the project tasks, resources are leveled, and any manually adjustments to the schedule are made, the project baseline is set. The baseline is used to measure project process and project success. The baseline is set from the Project tab in the Gantt chart view. There are many different views of project information. After the project is planned and project work begins, these views are used to help monitor and control the project. A snapshot of the project status is available by reviewing project statistics. As project work is completed and entered into Microsoft Project, the statistics will compare the baseline and actual duration, work, and cost of the project. Notice that the project is scheduled to take about 23 days to complete and cost $706. As work on the project is completed, the Microsoft Project file needs to be updated. The Create Project Schedule task is now complete. When the task is completed, the percentage complete task attribute is changed to 100%. Completed tasks have a check mark at the beginning of the task row. This concludes the end of this presentation. Thank you once again for your time and attention, and this is businesstraining.com, where you can earn master's level qualifications to make more money.